Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome to our second virtual athlete seminar. Usually it's Erica that's hosting, but you guys are lucky enough to get me because she's down at Cocodona helping out some friends get
Oh, is
that
she?
done. Actually, Tim, I was thinking about you and thinking that you might have been helping out your what's his name, Jake. Ultra Jake, but you're not down there helping him out. You're missing out.
No.
Anyways, my name is Laura Sher Townsend. If you don't know already, I'm the race director, and I'm really excited to have Tim and Bernadette from ACU here. I'm just gonna read a little bit of the intros that we've got for them. Bernadette's been the president of ACU since November 2022. She is also a child psychologist registered in Alberta and in Australia, where she has lived since 2008. Bernadette stumbled into the world of ultra running in 2007 at Lost Souls Ultra. It's one of my favorites. After joining a group of trail runners the year before. They quickly led her down the path of no return. Having dual citizenship, Bernadette has represented both Canada and Australia at the World Championships for 100-kilometer and the 24 hours. She has broken over 35 national ultra running records in Canada and Australia, had a seventh place finish at UTMB, and has had a podium placements in a mix of mountain, trail, and road events around the world, and even a snowy Arctic winter race. Personal challenge is a great motivator. I just wanted to add, I scooped out Bernadette's Facebook page, and she's presently cross-training right now with some tractor driving and planting some trees on her farm down in Australia. So I love seeing that because it takes me back to my roots of living on a farm. So I had to bring that up. So not only a hard worker, smart cookie, amazing athlete. I've been so pleased and excited to work alongside Bernadette since she came on board. I try to tell everybody how all the improvements that she's been making. Now, Tim has been one of my fans, and I know Wayne's going to bug me and say, we're all your favorites, but you all are. But Tim has been a fan since he came up to Survivorfest a couple of years ago, and it was even better when he brought up his family, and I got to meet his wife Melissa face to face because at the first race, I only got to like speak to her via our phone, but it was great to have his family come up to Survivorfest, and it's really what the race is all about, right? It's about community, families, and having the families. Right by the track definitely helped to motivate the athletes. So Tim has been involved with ACU since early 2023, and he's currently the vice president. Tim is a professor of biomechanics at the University of California, Riverside. However, Tim grew up just outside of Calgary, Airdrie, and loves getting back to Alberta to visit family and participate in races. Tim's first ultra race was in 2021 at the Ranch 50K in San Diego. Tim quickly progressed to 100-mile and 24-hour races. He ran his first 24-hour race at Survivorfest in 2022 and represented Canada last year at the 24-hour World Championships in Taiwan. Tim's goal is to try new races, both trail and road, and continue to beat his own personal records while hopefully knocking down a few Canadian records along the way. I'm really excited that he's not coming to Survivor Fest, but he will be at Lost Souls, which, like I said, it's one of my faves. And Wayne will be there because I know he always likes to be there. Mike McKenzie's joined us, another athlete from Survivor Fest, and he'll probably be at Lost Souls as well. So tell us about ACU and yourselves. Who's going to start? Bernadette? Tim?
I'll let Bernadette start, but thanks for the introduction and nice to see you and nice to see everyone here.
Um, and I thought actually that was a big introduction. And part of me was sort of like, oh great, now that like that's chewed up like half the time, I won't even have to talk or anything. We'll just give bios and then I can go away. But actually in the bio I realized, I know you'd asked for something, Laura, and I thought after I sent it, I was like, I didn't even mention that I was on the World Trials team in 2011, and Canada actually got a bronze women's team medal at that. I tend to forget the vast amount of things, but I also feel like it's a little bit important to mention just in terms of not to, like, as the Aussies would say, like big note myself, but more about the experience that I have accumulated, which also includes that the trails world and having seen where that's even gone from 2011 onwards, and having been involved in the sport for on the one hand a very short time, on the other hand such a long time, just because the sport has been growing and evolving really quickly. I mean, what the changes that happened through the 80s, 90s, early 2000 kind of in ultra running was, I think the internet has just done so much to blow it up and make it so easy. It's no longer like typed newsletters that got posted out to people. I've got old ACU records. I keep thinking I got to post little snippets on our social media sites sometimes, because there's just some treasures like back to 1992 and stuff that to see where our sport has come from and changed in some ways, but yet not changed. Like this article I just was looking at from 92 talking about, what athletes eat. And it's like, it's the same question. Is there a magic diet or whatever? But anyway, you asked, you just, I guess your question was really broad, or your statement like, tell us about ACU. So
yeah, because like some people don't really know like what ACU is and what they do for us as athletes, right? And so that's why I was really excited when you two both were interested in being a part of this, so that we could give you guys the opportunity to talk about what ACU does and and what it does for our sport, our athletes, community.
Yeah, okay. So ACU was founded back in 1992, actually, by a group of, I think it was six ultra runners at the time. And without going all political, there was, and I wasn't there at the time either, so what was actually happening, but there's certainly been a thing, and whether it's not just Canada who has had the issue historically of who's in charge of ultra running, because in the way back, if you have your national athletics federation, say like Athletics Canada, they really weren't interested in ultra running. That wasn't, they got the money from bringing spectators in and managing athletics and towards, going to the Olympics and things like that. So ultra running wasn't a thing. And that was a big part. It was a thing for the people who did it, but it wasn't a thing in terms of kind of governance and models for supporting and developing the culture and community, and record keeping and all of that. So the association was formed in 92 to really help consolidate and create a voice. There was some sort of a relationship with Athletics Canada at the time, but my understanding is it wasn't really a thing Athletics Canada wasn't interested in pursuing. And eventually, where we're at now is what happened over all the years, whatever. is we've got member federations. Every country is a member of the International Association of Ultrarunners, and ACU is the member federation to that international body that governs the sport of ultra running. And so we've maintained that relationship as being the representative body for ultra running, for promoting the sport, for ratifying records, for governance. It's in the last couple of years, and this again with so many of the kind of fast changes that have been happening. We used to have IAAF, which is now World Athletics. And a couple of years ago, we had World Athletics combined. They combined the trail running with the mountain running aspect. So mountain running was its own niche thing, and the athletics did mountain running, and we did our ultra trail running. And then they combined those in Thailand into a combined mountain and trail running. And I think a big part too of people, I think especially sort of newer, younger people coming into sport is sort of like, well, what is, Athletics Canada, and how does this relationship, like Athletics Canada and ACU, and who does what and who's in charge of what? So because we now have this combined mountain and trail running world championships, then we're working collaboratively now as the ACU with Athletics Canada in terms of the trail side of things. So because we have World Athletics involved there, whereas in our 24-hour races and our 100K races and all of those, World Athletics isn't involved in that side of things. And so Athletics Canada isn't involved in that side of things because their thread is World Athletics to Athletics Canada kind of thing. So so as far as, yes, just sort of, I guess that governance side of things, that's kind of where ACU stands. I know a couple of years ago, and I've seen it kind of in the last, I guess, several years, having been an athlete on Team Canada too, is being a volunteer run organization. We are small and we are pressed for time, and as you said, Laura, like, I'm a child psychologist. I'm still an elite level athlete working, to try to get my training in and volunteering on trails projects and different things too. So I get my fingers in lots of pies, but to the point where I can make myself sick sometimes from too many pies at once. But what I saw happening a couple of years ago was just a lack of, I guess, the time and the involvement that was needed. And that's when I stepped up and volunteered to put my name forward to nominate to take on the presidency of ACU, because as I think too, with the history, one of my big concerns is there is we have such an incredibly unique culture within our sport, and it's different. And I do the road races, and I've done 5K races and stuff, which I'd never done before. I did an ultramarathon. I went straight to ultramarathon. But now I have done those, and the difference culturally, in the whole, even, whether it's just the domestic sport way to get into sort of the elite level and everything. We've just got so many different ways even you can get into the sport of ultra running. It's not this thing where you progress in a certain lockstep like me, where my very first event ever was a 42K trail race. And then I think it was the Lost Soul 50K was the next event I did. And I had never even run a 5K race. And so we have, yes, so many ways for people to get into the sport, and as well, like I said, our culture and our community is so unique. And there's a lot about that I feel like without us here to do that part of it, we could, potentially lose that. So that's certainly been, I guess, a passion of mine in terms of stepping up and trying to build that foundation back within ACU so we don't lose that.
Yeah. And I think too, with the growth of the sport, you came on at a crucial time as well, because like you said, the internet's blown up I wouldn't say blown up our sport, but definitely the news has traveled, through different stories of, like, the Jasmine Paris story. All of a sudden I'm hearing about ultra running on CBC Canada radio, and it's yeah, you came on at a perfect time because the sport was definitely needing a little bit of guidance, especially our country. And Tim, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to first say that everyone should be really, really happy that Bernadette took over and is the president, because she's doing such a phenomenal job. And my job is like this, and her job is like this. Like, I do very little. So, but
there's still so much to do, but
yeah, and there's still lots to do. But my short time with the ACU, I think I've really realized that just how important it is and how much we can do. So I think because we're in this sort of upward trajectory for the sport, it's also a really ideal time to really help not just have all of these people sort of join ultra running, but join ultra running and form this community. And so I think one of our goals would be to sort of make more relationships, develop more relationships with race directors, and really try to get a lot of the races across Canada sort of join the ACU in terms of being listed, and so that we can start really promoting the races through ACU on social media, and we can really start to build membership and make it feel maybe even more like everybody knows what the ACU is, right? That would be the best situation, is that every runner across Canada, when they want to get into ultra running, their first step might be, well, I got to go check out the ACU first, and then see what the races are and maybe go from there, which would be just wonderful, because then we have this a family, because we're not the United States, even though I live in the United States. We are not Canada, the United States. And so we still are small enough where I think we can be a really nice community. And so one of the things that we do is have this Facebook group. And so if anyone's on here that isn't part of it, you should totally join the ACU Facebook group, because we're trying to sort of get dialogue going. It's still just starting. So, but once we have a critical mass of members, we can really start to have some discussions and talk about races that are coming up for people, and maybe, let people, toot their own horn a little bit after they've gone through a race, and maybe they can get some feedback and things like that as well. So I feel like we're still developing benefits for members, but I think there will be lots coming. And I think obviously discounts to races, and being able to compete for a national championship, and then ultimately represent Canada, if that's a goal for you, certainly that's a benefit as well. But yeah, it's been a learning experience, and I think it's pretty awesome. The ACU is great. Everyone should join that Facebook group.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually just found the email in my junk folder last night. And so everybody check your junk folder and make sure, or just go to ACU and you might be able, can you invite yourself, Tim?
Yeah. I've had people request to join.
Okay.
If I'm friends with anyone like you, I invited you directly from Facebook.
Okay.
If you saw that, anyway.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, Wayne, I think you're on. I know you're on Facebook. You should join.
I am on Facebook, but it's flinting.
Tricky thing where it's like that one platform where it's easy for this, but it's also, a platform where not everyone's involved, and so it is kind of I don't know what else we can do. It's sort of where all the athlete groups tend to be, and where all those kind of groups end up is Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, maybe that's a good chance for you to join.
Yeah. And so
Do
how
you have
did
any
it
specific questions? Yeah, sorry, I was going to ask if you had specific
so how
questions.
did it feel like representing Canada? Like, did you ever think you would represent Canada, especially like with running or
No, definitely not. I mean, I was a soccer player growing up, and that was my dream at some point. But no, it was an amazing experience, and all of us that got to go together, I think we're still always in communication. It's just fantastic. Several of them will be at Survivorfest.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it's one of those things where you see the Olympics and the anthems and everything else, and getting to walk up on stage together was absolutely spectacular. And Bernadette again was the coach and manager and everything, and just really picked a great group of people to go together. So it was just everyone got along, everyone supported each other. That there's nothing like that. I mean, it was so strange being there, seeing every other country in their uniforms, and running against Sorokin and Camille for a little while. It's just crazy seeing these people I've only heard of, and getting to race with them, but also get to support the other members of the team. Yeah, it's
And
an
it was
crazy
great
experience.
too because I think they had live stream for a while,
Yeah,
or Bernadette was sharing stuff like because I just remember still seeing like you guys in the tents
yeah,
and trying to get your butts out the door or
yeah,
out the
yeah.
tent and
Yeah, no, and I think it's been in France before in Albi, which is where it's going to be in 2025, and so I think that's probably a well-oiled machine. Bernadette would know more about that, but um, yeah, it should be fantastic. So, of course, any of you that are going to be competing in the 24-hour, maybe
yeah.
you'll be on the team.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, put them into the chat and I'll ask away. Um, Bernadette, so how many world events have you been a part of? Can you count how many? Probably not. So many.
I don't
She's a
know.
superstar.
Not put me on a podium. It's only a place to fall from. I don't want to go there. Um,
You'll be on your tractor tomorrow, I'm sure. Sorry.
I'm planning Saskatoon trees in Australia. It's the first commercial to sneak in some more Canada.
Cross training, right?
Nice.
Cross training. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes, my cunning plan. And I'll get them all speaking with the right accent too. And apologies, I know I've got right now, I'm probably talking with a funny accent because I do this weird thing when I'm here. But once I get back to Canada, it goes away. I think I'd somehow do this subtle mix of accents so that I don't get beat up or something. It doesn't work because they still tease me about the way I talk here. But yeah, my full Canadian comes back when I get back in the country. I think so. I've run for both. I think the first time was 2011 at the World Trails. That was in Ireland. And yeah, that was bog running. That was really special. And then we used to have Commonwealth's championships as well. Commonwealth's Trail and 24-hour, I think I want to say Llandudno was the last one, maybe. Lizzie Hawker broke the 24-hour world record at that one. I can remember being there. I've done this mix too because I got Australian citizenship, and I did a mix of I would run for Australia and I would run for Canada and I would run for Australia. And eventually the IAU and everybody kind of just said, like pick one. And that was a struggle. But yeah, probably maybe 5 championships I've been to. Yeah. And and then I've been to a few now where in the last couple of years where I've just gone as the team manager. I haven't even I just wanted to focus on being able to do that and really help bringing in our next generation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really love that because the first Survivor Fest that I held, we had a couple of athletes that qualified, and one of those athletes was a woman that um, ended up going as a not is it a it's not reserve, it's an alternate, and is that what they call it? Like she was on the team, but she wasn't counted in the team results. She was like an alternate, I think. And it ended up that she actually had more mileage than the other individual women. And she came back and didn't feel the team meld and connection. And so that was one of the reasons I was really excited for you to come on board, was because I thought that could be a lot different experience for her. And that's one of the other things I would love to do, like with Survivor Fest, but our country is so huge, so it's a huge investment financially and time-wise for athletes to come from the east to Alberta, right? But I would really love like Survivor Fest to be kind of a warm-up for the world events, so that because it's that environment on the track with everybody so close to one another, it's just I we have so many athletes returning because it's such a good experience for them. Like so many people come thinking, oh my God, I can't imagine doing that short loop for 24 hours. But then the relationships that happen on that track are just phenomenal. Like I'm glad Wayne's here because he's one of my favorites because of that, because he is a wonderful ambassador of our sport in the sense that he's bugging and joking and at the same time pushing himself beyond what he's ever done before. And yeah, it just makes me really proud. But again, I love that you're going in there as just a team manager, right? Like just working on those relationships with the athletes, and Tim felt it, right? Like it's
Yeah, it's people like that, and I will also plug Wayne because he was my cheerleader last year, and I certainly couldn't have done it without Wayne. Every single lap, high fives, you got it. Yeah, no, Wayne's fantastic. I saw him on the list. I'm like, oh my God, I need to go this year. But
And it's the kind of, that's one of those really neat cultural things, really special cultural things about our sport is you can go to a world championship event or continental championships or whatever, and you're competing against other people, but at times you're still working together in a way, like you're supporting each other to go further too. And that's, I think, quite unique as well. You're still in competition, but you'll work together, you'll give each other encouragement, and at the end of the day, you're still doing the best you can. And I think that, so, that's when we're talking at an international level too. But I mean, I'm always there. I hope, it's certainly a goal of mine to be there always for the everyman runner, the every person runner, that because I was that person too. I was, ask my old trail running friends, I was the back of the pack person. I was the one in the dark thinking I'm going to be eaten by the cougar. I would pick up a stick and be running along in the dark because they left me for dead. I was the slowest one. And I never saw myself as ever going anywhere like that. That was beyond any dream, never even crossed my mind at all. And for some people, it never would, or maybe it would, but they go, now, the competitiveness or whatever, I just don't want that. I like it the way it is. But that camaraderie too, that's part of it, where you're seeking out your personal best. Can I run 100 kilometers? Can I do 100 kilometers in 24 hours? Like, is that possible? Can I do 50 kilometers in 24 hours? Like, can I bring my tent and like set up and sleep? forget, like whatever your personal goal is, but you can be running with such a myriad of people around you who are supporting you to get to your goal, whatever your goal is. It doesn't have to be that you're trying to get on the national team or whatever. And, but we're all in the same struggle, the same endeavor, that we all have the same passion for achieving our personal goals. And it's just, I want to run. Can I run barefoot? Can I run in Crocs for whatever,
Right.
whatever
You saw that.
I've seen different ones.
Well, that was part of a conversation in that private Facebook group was
Yes,
sandals and
yes,
Croc
one of
talk.
our ACU members. Yes, yeah. And there could be more than one, and I see them in Australia too, or the
Oh, really?
barefoot, minimalist, whatever, Croc runners and things like that. But yeah, that's a really neat, and it's definitely something else that I want to be, it's part of building up that the ACU as well is the member discounts for races that are listed with ACU, the discounts for things like, supporting, a certain running store or nutrition, Hammer Nutrition or whatever, those kinds of things too. Definitely like to get some merch going at some point too, so that people can be, wearing the, like the headscarf things, the tubies, the whatever, and that as well, but that it all is saying we're part of the same community.
Yeah. So I've got a couple questions in the chat now. Your favorite ultra in Canada, other than Survivorfest, because we all love that one. But Tim, have you done any other ultras in
That's the
Canada?
crazy thing. I have not. So I've only done Survivorfest, but I've signed up for Lost Soul 3 times.
It's a
COVID
gooder.
happened, couldn't do it. Last year, I literally fell on a sidewalk in Vancouver 4 or 5 days before the race and like destroyed my knees and couldn't run. So this year, I'll let you know, but I'm guessing that'll be my next favorite race. But and I was so I have not done anything other than Survivorfest. I'm loyal.
Nice. I'm okay with that. Bernadette, any favorites in Canada? You can't pick Survivorfest because you haven't been here yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yet, you say.
Yeah.
So I only started ultra running in 2007, and then I moved to Australia in 2008, and it was supposed to be a short-term move, and then I was going to go back and forth. I was going to do a PhD and kind of go back and forth and live the endless summer or something like that. Things changed. So I've done very few myself, and Lost Soul would be one. I'm trying to think if I've even done others, because my partner's expat from Europe, and so I spend a lot of time in Europe now as well, and I've done a lot of races in Europe. So I might have to go a bit more with, can I even say trail or destination kind of places. And
Sure.
still also tough because there's still so much of Canada. I only got to see Newfoundland for the first time. I'm like, we need some Newfoundland races listed. Like, what an incredible place. And they've got ultras there. So yeah, it was an incredible running in Newfoundland. I would have to, I think I have to lean a little bit towards actually the Yukon Arctic Ultra.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a multi-day in the middle of.
I do like winter runs, and that's kind of on my radar for when my kids get a little bit older and I can head away, because I do like the colder ones. Yeah. So
I really want to do something like the Squamish 50. I really want to do that.
That's a good one. You do great at that one. Another question was, how do you both maintain focus, motivation, and clarity during such long events? Is there any mental strategies that you've developed to push through moments of fatigue and doubt?
Well, mine will be brief, so I can go first, since I haven't done this too many times. But I have gotten strategies from other people, and I have used some. And it's really it's telling yourself what you're going to do. I mean, you have to basically override every little voice that's coming in trying to attack you, and basically tell yourself, like, whatever pain is there, whatever horrible thing is happening at that moment, it will go away. So that on the mental side, it's like I always I'm a person that looks into the future. I'm looking at, okay, what am I doing tomorrow? So during a race, I'll use that and I'll say, okay, it hurts now. It's 11 o'clock. Maybe at 1 o'clock, it's not going to. So I'm just going to like do whatever I can to get to that point. And then oftentimes, as it is in ultras, especially long ones, you overcome things. You have ups and downs, and the pain's there and then it's gone. It burns, then it doesn't burn.
Oh,
I mean, maybe things keep burning, but maybe toenails hurt, but they come off, or blisters are there, you pop them and things go away. I currently don't have a few toenails, which I'm really happy about, actually, because I hate them. I'd love to get rid of all my toenails, but and then pushing through the one other thing I'd say is that a friend of mine, when he ever is sort of like, oh my God, what am I doing? It's like fatigued and I should just quit. And sort of having all these thoughts come in, as he just picks some mundane thing. And for him, it's 99 bottles of beer on the wall. And he will just, in his head, start that and just do it as long as he possibly could. And it worked. And so I tried that. And it's like, wow, like that's a solid 20 minutes that just went by. And I have no idea. Like that just went like that. And so picking things that don't require a lot of mental thought and it's just repetitive, and like block out thoughts by singing in your head, actually seems to work quite well for me anyway. But
Bernadette, how about yourself?
I think, like the comments and strategies that Tim's mentioned, and I think that the 99 bottles of beer thing too is it because I work a lot in neuropsych kind of developmental psych, neuropsych kind of type psychology. And I mean, even just the fact that if you're singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall, whatever you're singing, you can't be talking in your head and singing at the same time. So you actually are, it's just sort of a brain hack in the way of like you can't be having the negative voice can't get through at the same time, because you can't do that inner voice chat and be singing at the same time. It doesn't work. So yeah, it's a cool thing. And I actually used singing children's songs when I was doing a multi-day FKT in Australia once, and just resorted to that as well. I also I definitely try to gather strategies from others so that I have more things in my toolkit all the time to draw from. A couple of my favorites. In one race, it came to me a phrase, like it or hate it, it doesn't change it. And that one worked for me as well, because it was also a reminder to not get hooked into when things are going well, because then that can make the slingshot like, oh, it's going so great right now, I'm just smashing it, I'm crushing it, I'm like, I'm so whatever. But you're attaching to that as well. And I think there's just something to staying in this neutrality of like it or hate it, it doesn't change it. Stay in neutrality. Don't get hooked by loving it or hooked by hating it. So notice both and keep trying to sit in the middle. Another one of my favorites is I've got my goal towards the end, whatever that is, if I've got a time goal, distance goal, whatever. But I imagine that it's basically done. I've done all the hard work. I've done everything. I've visualized the whole thing. I just have to work through to get to the other side. And all this stuff might be coming. It's almost like I'm in a purgatory or something, but I'm coming out the other side. And all this stuff might be happening, but it's not really, it doesn't matter. I just have to keep going and I will come out the other end. So whatever's happening, it's like, if you think of it, I don't know, however you want, like it's a video game, it's a purgatory, it's something. But all this stuff that's happening, it's just like, you just ignore whatever like little dragons or whatever is coming at, and you just keep going on because they're just distractions, and you just have to keep going, whatever's going to be there, and get to the other end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so many people have said, just don't stop moving, right? Like that's it doesn't always work, especially at the Worlds when I had to stop moving from preventing convulsions. But yeah, that does help. I've done that with 6-hour races and things like that, where you might just want to sit down, and I just don't. And it kind of, you at least walk fast, jog, do whatever. I know Bernadette was just saying, do other things like skip and do something with your body. But as soon as you start to shut down, you're going to shut down. And I know that's not the style for like a backyard. That's the opposite. But for something like a distance or a timed race, that works for me too.
And Tim, there's a great picture of you and Richard and Mitch last year on the track.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you talk about camaraderie, but also pushing one another, like I was thinking of that picture because again, even though you were competitors, I know there were some relationships that were formed there, right?
Oh yeah. No, we actually are, all three of us are in communication all the time now.
That is great.
Trying to figure out where everyone's going to be at the next, what race are we going to do? And yeah, no, it was great. And I know was a Richard, I think, was realizing that I was catching up near the end, and it was awesome because then he just like bolted. I was like, all right, good job. And he still got his second place, but we laughed about it. Like, it was fun competition is what I would call it.
Yeah.
It was absolutely no like, oh, I gotta beat you. It was all like, awesome job, Mitch, you're doing amazing. And it's always like that at Survivorfest, I think.
Thank you.
I would have cheered Wayne on if Wayne was first place, and he cheered me on and he wasn't. So
this year.
It was great.
But you're not gonna be there. Oh shoot. Yeah.
With Mike is, he's always so positive, man.
That Mike McKenzie that's in the chat.
Yeah, Mike's even on here when the Oilers are playing. Have they started yet? No.
I'm not sure.
That's why you're here. Still have 15 minutes. Nice.
Okay. Any other questions? Does anybody have any other questions? Mike's our live stream virtual coordinator, and he's here helping make this amazing because all of you guys know how untech I am. Mike, is there any way that you can open up everybody's mics so that people are okay, like asking questions if they need to instead of...
Well, they can just say hi.
Yeah.
It's always nice to hear voices.
Hello.
Oh, I know that voice. That's Mike McKenzie.
Oh my God, Mike, we've been unleashed. We can say whatever we want here. Just, you guys were having me just about fall off my chair here a couple of times. And I just wanted to maybe go back a little bit in history. With Bernadette and I remember running out with her at the Trail Trash, and we did not leave her for cougar bait, but that girl couldn't even tie her shoes. I remember I've got a great picture of her sitting on my knee while we patiently taught her how to tie shoes one night.
Okay, this might be a little intimate. Now I don't feel bad about the tractor planting trees comment.
Yeah.
Tell us
Anyway,
more. Wayne.
Yeah.
It goes back a while, and funny, I heard her talking about Clondudno, and she dragged me out into that Bright Creek area one day, and she says that we got this race going on, and we're short of people. We're so desperate we're gonna even ask you, kind of thing. But would you come along to Wales? And I thought, well, geez, like, what the hell? Why not? Like, this woman's crazy, and certainly, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I'd never ran a 24-hour race, and somehow we did all right, and it worked out pretty well. And I hung around for a bit, and in the sport afterwards. And I certainly have Bernadette to thank for a lot of really great memories, and yeah, some just amazing things happened to me that I never expected to happen in my life. That's for sure. Tim and Laura, you two, I mean, good Lord, you're making me blush like crazy over here, but, just mentioning things, but it is good, to be on the track with everybody. And I think Bernadette alluded to it, just having fun with everybody, being part of people breaking records and cheering them on. I remember when in Italy, I was cheering Dave on like crazy to get his record, but I was also cheering on one of my buddies from England to get moving. And, so you're yelling at both these guys. And then after the race, I found out that they were 5th and 6th and they were chasing each other. And I thought, I guess I should have been cheering for Dave, not the other guy, but, but you just can't help it. You just get so wound up with the, just the ability and the determination and the strength that these guys have at the end. Lizzie Hawker, I spoke with her after she broke the world record, and just the most amazing conversation with focus and what she's doing. Anyway, you guys make me blush. I just want to ask one thing. While you guys were talking, I was trying to figure out Facebook, which I don't understand, Tim. But it said to follow. I got onto the ACU and I'm following you, but is that what I'm supposed to do, or is there a different way of doing things?
I will. Yeah, you can go. Can you search for the ACU athlete group?
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, but
if you do that, then you just hit request to join. There should be a button. If not, I can just become your friend if you want, and then I can just invite you directly.
Sure, that'd be the way.
And then he'll unfriend you.
I'm not much on Facebook. I'll tell you what, if you get to be friended with me on Facebook, you're doing good, because I don't want to get too caught up in it. That's for sure.
I don't know.
Great job, you guys.
This sort of thing only. So.
Yeah, hook up through Laura, get an email invite to me, and I'll do it that way and get on there properly.
Yeah, you should have gotten an email, but I'll send you another one.
Okay, well, it could be in a junk pile someplace. Who knows?
Probably.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll try to send those out individually too. Maybe that'll avoid them going to junk mail.
Cool. I'll try and keep a better eye on it too. But good job, everybody. I'm going to be quiet and let somebody else. Michael, what do you have to say for yourself over there? God, that's an awful shirt.
Oh, yeah. No, I got nothing. I was gonna say, I sing to myself when I run sometimes. I didn't realize, hey, maybe that's shutting off the negative chatter. I didn't even think I was doing that. I was just killing time. But yeah, it's good to put this is a positive strategy. It's not just going crazy out there in the night. So yeah, that's good.
I think you're still going crazy in the middle of the night. Sorry.
Yeah. But no, I'm good. I'm excited. So it should be a fun year.
Yes.
Yeah, good luck to everyone. Good luck to Jessica and Jared and Mike and Wayne.
Sorry, Bernadette, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment, going back to Wayne's comment about me asking him, like, hey, Landa, now you want to come on be on the 24-hour team kind of thing. Because I noticed at that time that Armand LeBlanc was president of ACU then, and I noticed, it was a small team, and if I remember right, maybe there were 2 men too, and you need 3 to even have a scoring team. So you can have individual rankings, but you can also have a team of 3 rankings. So your top 3 get accumulated distance or time in those events. And then you have a team rank as well. And so Wayne had done really well in at Lost Hole 100 mile, I think it was. And it was just like, it's not a standard qualifier, but this really shows ability. and that was the push, is because there is the possibility too for things like that when somebody doesn't necessarily have a standard qualifier. Can they, is there still a way in? And again, it speaks to the beautiful uniqueness of our sport, that there can still be a unique way in when your qualifier is at a
So-
100-mile trail race.
And that's a good question. Like, can that still happen even with the like races that are technically the qualifiers for like 24 hours or 100K or 50K? Are you kind of looking for athletes? Like an excellent example would be Elsa McDonald, right? Like, she doesn't do well, she does a few races in Canada, but with her results, like, would you reach out to her or?
So if so we the IAU basically, they used to keep their own rankings kind of list. That was just very difficult for them to manage. And the German Ultrarunners Association, DUV, just runs the most incredible worldwide accumulated database, and they've become the standard, and all races basically get listed within, like, all results go to DUV now. As much as possible, everybody should be trying to get their results there. And if any athlete's talking to me about a race they just did or anything, and whether that might be a qualifier, I'm like, get it into DUV. First of all, make sure the RD's doing that. And Tim can help support with things like that too. I could as well if need be. Just sort of like how it's done or what needs to be done. So, and there are travel grants. And so the standard qualifiers that provide the travel grants to us as a federation from the IAUs, we get a little bit of money towards some athletes and some support. Those have to be for athletes who run up an actual measured qualifying standard thing. So it has to be, if it's the 100K, they run the 100K road, measured course, everything. We get one wild card male and one wild card female at every world championship at our discretion. So I could take a C grade athlete and upgrade them to a B grade, and that could be my wild card use. Or I could pull a Wayne Godet who's run a 100-mile trail race and say, this person has a lot of potential on a 24-hour flat, and I'm going to bring them in as my wild card. And then they basically get the travel grant as if they were a B grade qualifier. And I could also just say, hey, Canada could say, hey, we're just going to bring somebody, whoever, into the team who we think has great potential, who, maybe whatever, if it's the 100K team and they've done a great 50K, but we've seen them do some other endurance events, and we could just bring them in. There's just no travel grant there. And it's always certainly the number. So we do have discretion, but it's always going to be our number one pick is going to be to find people who have those actual qualifiers. But I know it's a real challenge. Like if I go back to the 90s, 2000, whatever, the number of races we even had compared to now. I mean, we had, I think in the 90s, like we had 4 at least 24-hour races happening. Ottawa, London, Ontario, Quebec. Is it Sherbrooke? Like when multiple 24-hour races, and it's been in decline in that. And I know 100K, it can be really hard to get on a 100K road, like where you can find a circuit and things like that. Now traffic management and stuff became a real issue. Insurance became an issue, all those kinds of things. So we definitely want to support. And so if I know of somebody, if I'm looking at that list and we're looking at selecting and we could use more people, and I have anywhere I think I can go to try to gather more information, I'd certainly be looking. Looking to reach out to people. Absolutely.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, well, we've almost been chatting for an hour, which is absolutely incredible. And I did actually do the spin of the wheel because we do have a draw prize from Fast Tracks. And the winner is Mike McKenzie. I don't have the hydration. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I'll post it tomorrow. And Mike, somehow I'll hook up with you and pass it on to you, and congratulations. And Wayne, I'm glad that you came came on tonight for a little bit of a warm up for next week. It's going to be Wayne and Dave. It should be entertaining for sure. And yeah, if you have any other questions for the Survivorfest team, music requests, you know where to find us. We're counting down the days. Only 30 days left until Survivorfest. Tim, you've got a question?
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, no,
I
go
was just
ahead.
going to tell you that I in the chat I put the link to the Facebook group and the ACU website. So if you just want to check it out, explore, and see what the ACU has to offer, that would be a good link to check out.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you again, Tim and Bernadette. Appreciated your time and expertise, your laughter and jokes, and thank you for everything that you guys do for the sport in our community. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. It's
And we
great.
can share this YouTube video so that you guys can put it on your if you're okay with that. I know we might have shared a little bit too much, but
That's a good way to get it out there. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
for
luck
sure.
to running the event, and good luck to literally running the event.
Oh yes, thank
To all
you.
of you. So yeah, thanks. It was great.
Okay, have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Tim. I got